You're down. Hey everybody, it's Gussy Dupp. It's just a little past 4:20 here, Pacific Northwest time, but we're in the ish club, so that's okay. We're ish witches. Uh, so glad you could join me today. I'm in kind of this funky mood today. I'm not sure how you all are feeling, but as I was getting ready to sit here at my duckering table, I almost chose not, I almost didn't put even my little dab of lipstick on because my energy's feeling really low. It's like weird. It's like I'm happy, but I've low energy. Does that make sense? Is anyone else feeling like that out there today? So as I was in the bathroom doing my ablutions, brushing my teeth, because as you know, I don't like to do readings with a dirty mouth. Um, I was brushing my teeth and just kind of do like I do, speak to who I speak to in there in my own private space. I kind of get centered. And I have a feeling that it's kind of a roller coaster ride for more than just me today. So this might be a really interesting 420 tarot. Let's see what comes up. Uh, Also, I wanted to offer, it's as long as you are interested and my energy holds out, I'll do a 420 reading, a kind of a community reading like we have been doing. Um, and then if you guys feel like having a specific question read or whatnot, send me a tip. I'll read a card for you. As long as my energy holds at the end, I think that would be a lot of fun. Fair and equal opportunity energy exchange, and glad to work with you on your spiritual path. So I just had a bowl of the most incredible chicken noodle soup. Did you have some of that yet, Glenn?
Not yet.
It's made by our very own Mara Stara, and she's the gal that did the Purple Door broom dance back in October, trying to get us off our high knees and up and moving. She is one of our local pagans here, sister of ours, and she brought the chicken noodle soup over. So just had some of that. Now I'm having some tea. Which one did Grim provide for me today? He picked this out. This looks like a shoreline tea with CBD in it. Do you know if this is mid high or high tide?
The one that I grabbed.
Okay. It's the one you grabbed. Great.
The
That
one
helps.
I grabbed.
Yeah, that helps. But yes, this is a tea made with CBD oil infused in it, and available for purchase if you'd like to know where. I will tell you. Maybe we'll put a link down there somewhere. We can always do that, right?
If Hannah or Justin are watching,
Yeah.
feel free to post a link to your tea because it's good stuff. Gussie likes it.
I do. So what I was saying a little bit ago, we're kind of in the timey-wimey machine right at the moment. This is that we mentioned yesterday, pregnant pause before something major shifts. And I think most people are wondering if it's the political climate kind of got everyone on edge. That very well may be. But I also know that the ascension symptoms, uh, the energetic ascension that you're going through, they are all running kind of par for the course right now. Upset stomach, nauseousness, feeling real lethargic, just not really sure. Like one minute you have enough energy and the next minute it feels like someone just pushed the button and it just ran right out of you. It's kind of unnerving, but know that those days are numbered. We are, just like when a wave hits the side of the shore, there's a pattern that it follows. And sure enough, there's sort of an anti-wave, if you will. And we're kind of somewhere close to the apex of the wave and the anti-wave. We're kind of somewhere on that bell curve in the middle, if that makes sense to some of you. And so you're bound to feel that your energy is off. So the reason I'm chatting a little bit more with you right now instead of jumping right into the tarot card is because I really do feel like we need to all take a moment to focus and just remember that we are here today, we are alive and breathing, we are managing to do our best today and make the next best step possible. If your next best step today is to stay curled up in bed for the afternoon and evening, if there's nothing stopping you from doing it, and I can't imagine what it would be, why not take that time to allow yourself to rest? I have a funny little story to tell you. Well, it's not funny, haha funny. It's just one of those little magical muggle moments that I love to point out to folks around the Covenstead. It's been hard to keep our chins up through all of this 2020 hullabaloo, and I'm sure you feel the same in a lot of ways. Many of you know who Siege is. He lives here at the Covenstead with us. He loves to forage. He loves to find mushrooms, and he loves to find different herbs and whatnot for different reasons out in the wild. And some of you've watched him. Well, he also loves to make wands. And about this time last year, I talked him in. Actually, a friend of his talked him into making one. He was like, "I can make it look. I can make one just like that." It was a wand they found on Etsy or Amazon. Amazon, I'm sorry. And sure enough, Siege started making wands, and before you know it, he had some orders coming in for his wands, and some of you even bought them. But then way led on to way, and he kind of gave up the wand making for a while and really focused on his construction business. Hurt himself recently and had to take a few days off. He's not usually the kind of person that will take a few days off. He'll say, "Yeah, I won't go to work tomorrow and I'll just rest." And then the next thing you know, he's nowhere to be found because he can't sit still long enough. He's always got to be doing something, bless his heart. But he injured himself and he spent 3 days in bed just nursing it and taking care of himself and, really using the arnica cream we gave him.
Getting back rubs and
yeah,
neck rubs, just sucking it up.
Stop. But anyways, then he and Grim he went out for a walk once he was feeling better, and he came home with basically like an armful of these gorgeous pieces of wood that he just found on his trip. Windy pieces, because one of his trademarks that he likes to do is like this spiral twist on the wood that he's carving, but he's basically been having to carve the twist in. Well, not with the wands he's found recently. And I said, "Isn't it wonderful that you decided to do something for yourself, as in let yourself actually heal, like to actually lie down for 3 days and do nothing but let the healing happen. And the day you go out for a walk is the day the universe presents you with your passion." And he looked at me kind of funny, and I'm like, "Listen, I choose to live an enchanted life. I don't have to look at the enchantment if I don't want to. As a matter of fact, many of us don't look at the enchantment. But I can tell you this, being 54 years old, as long as I am based in reality and I know what's going on around me, it doesn't hurt to let the enchantment happen around you either. There's absolutely no reason to stop believing in the Fae. There's absolutely no reason. Why? Because you're older now? You were also told there was no such thing as ghosts, and you still believed because you would hear, see, think, experience things, or have friends that did at the very least. And so you think about Einstein's theory, right? And you're like, well, if we can't destroy energy, what happens to it? Well, we all know, those of us that are in the know, in the witchy, pagan, empath, psychic world, we know that those energies are out there and around us, that they've never gone anywhere, that they're all still here with us in this 3D realm, that there are other realms very close by, and that we all are very interconnected. But just like being told that ghosts were no such thing, and allowing your mind to remember that, yeah, I always kind of knew ghosts were real. And when you had your own children, when your children would ask you about ghosts, you had to wrestle with yourself for a minute. Do I tell them no? There's no such thing as ghosts, and save them a possible lifetime of experiences like you've had? Awake in the dark, knowing that you've heard something and knowing that it wasn't really there that you could see? Would you deny them those experiences, because those shaped who you are? So I ask you now then, when it comes to the fae folk, we were told don't believe in fairy tales, right? Now that you're old enough, you don't need to believe in those fairy tales anymore. This is reality. You are based here in this reality, 3D world. No such thing as fairy tales. No such thing as ghosts. Those are for children. Those are for children. Ghosts and dreams and fairy tales. But are they really, ask yourself? Are they really? And if you allow yourself to truly believe in the fae, well, I suppose you'd have to take a moment then to acknowledge that people that subscribe to the vampire lifestyle might actually consider themselves vampires. And you might actually have to think a little further and decide that perhaps those story tales or fairy tales about wolves transforming into men and vice versa, that maybe, well, those are just fairy tales, right? Or could it be true? Could there be reported sightings of wolf-like men all around the world globally through the centuries? Be indicative of it, or is it just something we should sweep under the rug because we're told that we're too old to believe in that stuff anymore? Well, I choose to believe that they're all around us all the time. I choose to believe that I am descended from fae. I am a fae hybrid. I do have human blood. I also have fae blood, and I know it to as deep and dark a part of my core as I can feel. And this isn't a message out there to pretend to be something I am not. I don't run off to SCA events and festivals and fairs and all that. That's never been someone who I really am, nor Grim. We just know how we feel, and the research that we've done, and the connections that we feel to our ancestors, and to those of you out there that connect back with us in this way. Those of you that never stopped believing in fairy tales, those of you that always felt the connection to the fae, knowing that it is much more than just the Disney version, the Tinkerbell. Although that fairy energy is very real as well. That's very, very real and well out there. There's all sorts of fae. And it's time you allow yourself to remember that, and remember that the fae don't experience time linearly like we do here on this world, in this realm. And as we, some people talk about our Earth's density changing, going from a 3D existence to a 5D existence, and there's some hullabaloo rolled in there about the whole switch over to 5G being part of that, and who knows? I'm not a scientist. I don't know if that's accurate or even a portion of the truth. I don't know. I haven't researched it enough. But I do know this, that it doesn't take a 420 mind to sit around smoking weed and being high and disclosing high guy moments. Even people that do not partake in any kind of cannabis ingestion whatsoever are experiencing this kind of timey, whiny, warpy feeling that we talk about, where the sort of digital day as it used to go doesn't really flow like it did any longer. And you start to realize that you don't live according to a daily clock. You live according to an earthly cycle. You live according to a lunar cycle in combination together. You're as much an astrological and cosmic creature as I am. Your Fae bloodlines, I'm sure, run as deeply as mine do. Once I opened my mind up to this, I could start seeing other people who are Fae. And so can Grimm. We look around, we can see on your face, we can see traits. Not everyone carries it, but a lot of people do. Open your mind up to that. And what would that world look like? What if that world was here all along, right under our noses, and we didn't know it? What if we've been kept from our information of our ancestors for so long, told that it's buried as fairy tales, and only babies listen to those?
Well, weren't most fairy tales designed to scare the children?
Some of them were designed as, yes, lessons more of morality, but typically, when the fairy tale even began, or the folk tale, it did derive itself out of a local legend that became larger than life, and usually because those local legends were local heroes, there was a moral issue at hand of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was over a land dispute, or or who owned what cow, or some title of nobility, who knows. But the grain of truth is always there, but to try to follow it back, sometimes, there are so many fairy tales and folk tales that you and I have looked at that it's difficult to kind of trace them all back, but a lot of them do come back to some similarities.
Mm-hmm.
And similarities across religion and culture, which is really, really a lovely surprise. Kind of head scratcher, like, what are we going to do now? But at the same time, it's nice to find common ground with other fellow humans.
And that is a beautiful way to put it. Finding common ground through our folklores and our mythos versus trying to find common ground through our political boundaries and
Our
religions. Look to those hidden, deep secrets, those far off
Right.
mysteries.
Because, religion really is just spirituality, uh, designed to look like spirituality, but it really is just another way to control
Mm-hmm.
behaviors. And a lot of those behaviors are great virtues to start with, but it gets tainted and kind of blobby along the way.
And in the end,
Who's trying to get in touch with us? Do you hear that ding, ding, ding? I know I haven't drawn a card yet. I just wanted to let you know, if you don't mind sharing this video before I get started with the reading, that'd be great, because I need some good PR. I do. I need some good PR. Please share. Please share. Okay, let me have a sip of my tea. Thanks for sitting through that. I don't exactly know where that came from either, but I know that 2020 was a lot about looking to our past, being willing to look beyond just, our own life and the life of our parents, but into the lives of our grandparents and beyond. I know 2021 is about looking within now and looking at our own past lives, who very well may be your own you may be your own great-great-grandmother. You don't know. A lot of that information, if it's not necessary for this lifetime, as part of its, reckoning that it goes through here in this development, then it's not anything necessarily brought forward. What is brought forward is what is information that is needed to nourish and complement your soul to help it grow and move on to the next level. And right now there are a whole bunch of us kind of dusting ourselves off and, shaking out those wings because we haven't used these for a while. So we're in this together, and I think safety in numbers and brings me back time and again to meet here with all of you. So if you don't mind sharing, that would be great. Alrighty. Okay, one card for today. It'll be interesting if it plays along with the theme of whatever we were just talking about. I've noticed recently that things come in themes with the cards like this when I read it for a group of people. So, and once in a while, sometimes the theme will fit into a single reading that I'm doing for someone too. So those of you that like to ask me, I use the Tarot Apocalypsis deck. I've used several decks in my lifetime, as a matter of fact. I so appreciate it. Hint, hint. When people, I love to receive tarot decks. I really do. Tarot cards, the artwork is something that I just adore. And so the problem I have, though, is so frequently I'll, get a deck gifted to me, and then I end up gifting that deck because I work with so many people. And
you have become a tarot gifting library.
Yeah, but I would like to have my own little stash of my faves. I really would. But only two decks have really stuck out to me through the years for the intuitive kind of reading that I do. And those two decks, this one is the Tarot Apocalypsis, which it is, it kind of made me think of that movie that Mel Gibson did in the 90s or 2000s, Apocalyptica or whatever, kind of like that. I thought they were going to be like that, but really, this deck has representation and symbology from a lot of major cultures throughout the world, and so it really, really expanded my mind, starting to work with these different symbols that I might not have actually ever been drawn to. Like, really, honestly, I'm not very drawn to a lot of Asian symbology, but through working with this deck and like just getting to know the symbols and the feel and the energy of it all, it's kind of broadened my own viewpoint on looking at other symbologies beyond the ones that I'm just comfortable with, that are just at home in my heart with me, and that I live with in my daily life. So broadening, expanding horizons is a really good theme for us right now. Allowing ourselves to think outside of the box just a little bit more. Don't open that box up so wide that you're going to put yourself in danger of any sort. But allowing yourself to see that, hey, maybe it is time to revisit some of those dreams from years ago and bring some of those back out to play. It might be time to do those things that you've been putting off doing because you just thought it wasn't time, or you had to put your efforts elsewhere. Well, guess what? The universe is going to take care of you either way. The universe will take care of you either way. You just need to let her know in which manner you like to be cared for. And you need to show gratitude in doing so. Okay, choosing one card for today. November 18th? No. I am stuck on Band-Aid. I can't stop thinking November.
Gussy.
Need a little energy healing over here. Need to clear the month of November from the PTSD I evidently had built up. The kinetic PTSD energy built up behind me. It's like, ah.
We have a moment for you to clear some energy here. We have
Okay.
a spammer on the comment.
Oh, we do?
Right,
oh,
yes, we do.
Good.
So if you would like...
what are they trying to sell, love spells?
No, this one's just straight up calling people out by name, saying to DM me. Now, I've already removed and blocked.
Oh, okay.
But I don't want you to go into the reading with that energy.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate that. And as a matter of fact, that must be why I just cut this end of the card off. Because something was not right about that energy there. So thank you, Grim, for taking care of that. You know, I don't really know how to keep that from happening. I think it's just a sign of the times. There are people that just don't have anything better to do with their lives. Who knows? But you don't affect my space here. You do not affect the space that we've created here today or any spaces hereafter. Only those that have pure intentions and are invited by Gussy and Grim through the peace of their hearts and their minds, their willingness to discover their shadow selves, their willingness to walk out of the dark and be a guiding light to others. Only those may enter here. All others are cast aside. I call upon the divine God, Goddess, Mother, Father energy. I call upon the divine connection to myself, my higher self, past lives, the others, animal allies, plant allies, crystal allies, spirit guides, guardian angels. I ask for your protection and guidance, and most of all, clarity, that the information that I perceive today be shared in the way that it needs to be shared, that who needs to hear what I need to say can hear it clearly and openly, so that they know it is directly a message to them, that there is being transmitted messages to them to see as little reminders that they're on the right track. They need just open their eyes and look around and look for the synchronicity about them. Look for the sameness. Look for the matches. When you start getting just like playing, oh, I'm seeing like a lottery ticket, you know, when you have the scratch off ticket and you have to have several numbers in a row, or maybe six cherries in a row or whatnot. And as you start to build the momentum, you get like 4 cherries, you start to get excited because you only need 2 more. It's kind of like that. We're on the precipice of something great, and I can feel that. Ask for that love light here now, in this time and space. Okay, today's card, moving us forward. Ooh, it's the Devil card. You can't pull the Devil card without having a little bit of an auspicious sound, because it doesn't matter who you're reading cards for. Even a seasoned tarot card reader, whenever this card comes up, you always draw a little flinch in, a little, oh. It, like 3.5 decades of doing this, and that one still always draws a little bit of extra breath in, I guess. Before I forget to mention it, I told you that the Tarot Apocalypsis deck was the one that I'm using now. But the one that I learned to read on with, and the one that I love and cherish but no longer own, is the Voyager deck. And though that one is out of print, I believe, the Voyager Tarot, I would suggest it. It has its own unique vibe, and just it's one of my favorites. One of my 2 standout favorites. Okay, let's take a look at Mr. Devil here. Let's take a look. You know, there are a lot of people right now that are coming to a realization that life will never go back to the way it was before. I don't know what it is